I don't know what the hell I'm saying anymore, but let's just display this thing. What is up? Welcome to Cutting Up. I am your host Mac, and I want to thank you for checking out this content. We're gonna get straight into it. You see the state of my head, and that means it's time for another product review. Now, I have previously reviewed something from Sejoy before, and they were nice enough to send over some more products. This is the Sejoy electric trimmer Goldenstone 1. So what I'm actually gonna be doing today with the current new growth that I have all the way out, my beard looking scruffy, I plan to do one side of the head with the trimmer, and then there will be another product review on the other side. Stay tuned if you want to see that item as well. The link will be somewhere below, but let's get into this current one here. And if you know how I get down, we're gonna review the packaging, the item itself, and I'm gonna tell you if it makes the cut or if it ain't gonna cut it. What I can say so far about this one is packaging is very straightforward. It tells you a little bit about the product. It tells you the name, even though the name is kind of small there. This is the Goldenstone 1, which implies there might be a 2 or 3. It's pretty simple, looks pretty straightforward, pretty easy to open with human hands. Let's explore the outside packaging a little bit more and see what this says. You can see here it says it comes with a Type-C charging. I like that because the more things that use that is the more universal the chargers are. You won't have a proprietary charger that if this device's charger goes missing, you'll have to be searching around trying to find it. It's a Type-C. Pretty much your phone is probably using this. Even you Apple people at this point are using Type-C. It says it has an LED display. We're gonna see how well that works. Lithium ion battery. Ion batteries usually are pretty lightweight and last quite a bit of time. Now on the front here, it does boast fast turbo mode, trims 20% more power. More power than what? I'm not sure, because this is saying this is the Goldenstone 1, so I'm not sure what they're comparing it to, but we will find out. Props to the box being simple to open up. If this wasn't just a cardboard box, you actually kind of look like you can keep it in there. It seems to have a good weight to it, but before we take a closer look at the trimmer, we're gonna go ahead and look into the box, see what else comes in there. On the side here, I really do like this as well. They have a visual as well as telling you exactly what you should be expecting to be in the box. So they have about 4 guards, it looks like, a protective cover. You know I love those. The 3 trimmers are gonna be a 1.5 guarded comb, a 3mm, and a 4.5. Some oil to make sure that your blades stay lubricated, a little cleaning brush, your Type-C charger, and then a little hair comb. What I like about that is I am not a professional barber. I don't know how many of you are, and if you don't have the kind of skills to pay the bills, you can kind of use this kind of like a little guide to make your straight lines. So the fact that they included that is good. It's firm enough. It doesn't feel like it's gonna break right away. I don't know if you're gonna have this for years and years, but again, you didn't buy this for the comb, you bought this for the trimmer. So the fact that they threw this in there and it's a little something that can maybe comb through the beard for you or the hair if you have more to work with than I do, we'll give them points for that. There's everything in there. No carrying case, no kind of pouch. I guess we could nitpick and take some points off for that. They did try with the box, like I said. If the box wasn't just cardboard, you could actually keep this thing in the box. Here is the USB as advertised. It doesn't boast the length, but I would say maybe about 2 feet. It's not super long, but again, where do you need this to be? And again, because it is a USB-C, this allows you to use other chargers with it. I know what you're here for. It's the same thing I'm here for. Here is me holding the trimmer for the first time, and I gotta say, it has a nice heft to it, a little bit of weight to it. It is not super light, but there's actually like a quality feel to this. This is all a metal encasing, and then they have this nice design on it. This one here, the Goldenstone, has this little dragon emblem on the front there. Just has that nice traditional Asian theming on it for us dumb North Americans over here. Not to be stereotypical, but yeah, you can feel the grooves on the design. These are actually emplated in it. It's a little heavier than you might expect, and I appreciate that. There is a little guard here. So besides the protection for the insides there, which I really am feeling, here is the blade guard. And again, you'll hear me say this throughout my videos, whether it's a tutorial or it's a product review like this. Be good to your tools and your tools will be good to you. So I really like the fact that that comes there. That feels high quality. I'm about to turn this on for the first time. There's, if you can see it, a little bit of Sejoy branding there. This feels high quality and still has that aesthetic if you're going for that Asian theming on it. There is the USB there, so be careful with this. I don't think this is going to hold up very well around wet areas, but this does not boast to be a wet dry trimmer. This is going to be strictly for dry trimming, and there is your power button. Turning it on for the first time. Now what I will say is it only has the one button. The display is pretty clean. I would say almost as nice as the previous LED screen. First things first, just so you can hear it. And there it is in turbo. So not super loud, not the most quiet thing in the world, but not super loud, definitely not gonna disturb anybody. And there's also not a big rattle to it. You're not vibrating your hand too much. I feel like you'll be able to get some accuracy out of this. Again, points to them for this little guard piece here. Simple and straightforward. It gives you an exact percentage of how much is on there. Now it doesn't tell you how much power you're using, but it only has the two settings. It has the normal and turbo mode, which I'm guessing that's what it's bragging on the front, is that the turbo is 20% more power. What I do appreciate about the exact numbering is that it tells you exactly where you're at. Instead of having a little icon that shows you the battery power, it gives you a clear-cut number so you know you're at 92%, 88%, 50% battery. So you can kind of decide whether or not you have enough battery or if you need to throw this thing on the chargers that you're gonna have and give it a quick charge. So I'll tell you what I learned from this in a minute here. So what did I learn reading up on this thing? First, I do like that they gave you a pamphlet book. I have had reviews in the past where they fold out into that like poster style. What I don't like with that one is those will not keep for very long. Not that you're gonna be going back to this frequently, but when it's a new device, you might need to quickly read through it once or twice, and you want this, you know, you want everything you paid for to stay in the same condition that you got it. Now, it is pretty straightforward. Points to them, this one is proprietary for specifically this device itself. It does only have 1 or 2 pages before it flips into the other languages. There are very few illustrations in there. For example, when it said remove the guard, I'm assuming it meant this guard off of the blade. No clear indication if they want you to remove this one. I am hoping not, that you get to keep that one on and just keep less things from gunking up in there. I have seen some other T-shaped trimmers that are naked like this, and it's not that I have anything against it, but why have that when you have a way to protect it in doing this? One of the things that it explained, if you're looking at the device and you see the number, there are some other little icons there flashing. What it has, besides the exact number of the battery percentage, is once it hits about 10% or below, it reminds you that it needs to be charged. I prefer that than a loud beeping. I don't know if you have any other devices out there that do that. Me personally, I have a baby monitor and it aggravates the crap out of me. It makes the loudest, most annoying chirp, almost as bad as when your smoke detector's battery needs to change. This is just gonna flash or twinkle, but you kinda should know you need to charge because you have an exact number that's pretty clear to read. It also has a reminder on it of when the device senses that it needs to be oiled or lubricated, and it will also have a red light that will constantly stay on, letting you know that it's being charged. The clear-cut indicator specifically telling you the number, I have to give them points on that. I'm really liking that from Sejoy. It's clean, it's clear-cut. You're not trying to understand what the 3 bars mean. Not that those devices that have the battery icon with the little 3 bars or 4 bars in it is impossible to read, especially if, you know, if you're used to your gas tank, it's pretty similar thing there. But a clear-cut number indication of what percentage battery it's at is preferable to me. What I did notice is this particular device will give you 120 minutes. A lot of things will brag about 90 minutes. This will give you 120 minutes of shaving time, but it will take 3 hours to charge. So a little bit longer to charge than other devices, with the indication on the front if you are short for time. Remember, you probably don't have to charge this thing all the way to 100%. If you know you just have to do a little line work or something like that, you're probably going to get through that without 120 minutes needed. I am not going to charge this thing because I'm already at 91%, but just keep in mind it's 3 hours for a full charge and it provides 120 minutes. So roughly it's almost about a minute and a half per minute charge. Really quickly before we get into the device, these just click on and off to the device here, and you can tell when they're lined up properly. Pretty straightforward. You're not gonna have to read the manual to figure that out, and it doesn't feel like you're pulling or tugging on anything that will put any damage long term. The only thing I would say is you gotta make sure, because it will kind of click in place if you wrongly line it up, but again, you'll be able to visualize it and see when it's on wrong. For me, the brush that comes in there is not the highest of quality. You can get away with using it, or if you're traveling, it'll work. I prefer to have just a cheap toothbrush, and I use these on all of my electric trimmers and shavers. So I'm not gonna really take any points off for that not being the highest of quality. Me personally, I'll just get my hands on a little toothbrush or something. They do sell actual brushes that are a little higher quality than that one as well. I've already showed you the comb, I've already showed you the guards, and I've showed you the stuff that I normally geek out for, which is the shield and the protective covering here for the T-shaped trimmer. Now it's time to just get straight to it. Let's see what this thing can do. We're gonna turn it on, and I'm gonna do 2 areas, one here, one here. So we're gonna see the difference between the 2 settings, the regular and turbo mode. Now bear with me, I am left-handed, so you're gonna see me holding it a lot over on this side, but I will switch it up just to see how weird it feels on the other side. Let's get straight into it there. So if I'm nitpicking, one of the things that I have to say that is just gonna take a little getting used to. You will have to click it twice to turn it off if you're on the regular setting, and once if you're already in the turbo mode. Meaning when you turn it back on, you're gonna have to click it again to get it back to the setting that you like. It's not a huge deal, but if they had a second button, I guess you would be able to just keep it in the setting that you want, or quickly get to the setting that you want and get to on and off mode instead of having to toggle through both settings to get to off. Straightforward right away. I feel no tugging, no nicking, and it is a pretty smooth shave. I did have my hair grow out much more than I usually do, and I felt like it handled that pretty well without going into turbo. Let's see what the turbo does and if it's necessary. So the turbo, I can feel the power difference. I will say it's just as smooth. I don't feel like they did a huge difference between the two, but depending on the texture and how thick your hair is, the turbo might work better on your hair texture. For me, I didn't see a huge benefit between being in one mode or the other, but that might be up to preference. It's gonna be subjective because it's gonna be down to what you're trying to tackle. Are you just trying to tackle something small like this, or are you trying to tame a jungle? So I do appreciate that they have more than one setting. There is absolutely no tugging on there. The blades feel high quality. The blade also feels like it's a nice enough size across. You can see I wear about a size medium glove, and it's about 2 of the 3 segments of my finger. So the blade is a decent size and will make quick work of shaving your head, especially if you've joined the thinning group like me. I'm going to test out how well it does line work, and then I think I can safely tell you what I think. Let's use the comb it came with and see how well it'll do on the line work here. Pretty good. This is what I'm coming from. This is the line that I was able to achieve with cheating with the comb. Pretty good. It's making light work of this here, and all of the use across here that I've shaved and down here getting into the beard work, I felt one little slight tug, and that might have been operator error more than anything. Just make sure that your blades are properly lubricated, because you want to make sure that the blades are able to move past each other. So those things taken into account, I gotta say this is doing a bang up job so far, and for it being cordless, I'm getting the kind of results that I really like. Now for the ultimate test in precision, we're gonna do the line work on the beard. This is where I'm really gonna figure out if it's gonna cut it or not. Get the duck lips out. Get in here, see how this works. I like to do is comb into it. Remember, before you make a comment about why am I bothering to shave the thin spot, allow me. So far, I've got to say I'm impressed. The last thing to see what this thing can do is how well the guards will work on there. I always say start with your highest guard and work your way down, because if you start too low, you'll definitely take it further than you want to. Let's go down to the 3. That was a 4.5. And finally, the 1.5. It is clearly marked where you are, so besides just having to look at the combs itself, you will not get lost trying to figure out which comb it is, because they are clearly marked 4.5, 3, and 1.5. I think I've seen enough to tell you what I think. Let's see if this makes the cut. So what is my final analysis on this thing? Does this make the cut? For me, no surprise, Sejoy keeps it going. This does make the cut if you're looking for a small trimmer. Like I said, the weight to it can take a little getting used to. I did keep the guard on while using this, but as I said, you can easily take it out when it's time to clean it. Brush it clean, just like that. Or you can use it freehand if you want to have that exposed and get maybe a little bit more purchase angle on this thing. I have to say, for as far as a tea trimmer, I was impressed with this, and the quality of what your results are going to come down to is going to be purely down to what it should be down to, which is your skill level. Whether or not my lines were straight were up to whether or not I kept my hand straight, or if I was using the right devices to cheat and make my lines the way I wanted them. I was able to achieve pretty much everything that I wanted to achieve as far as a trimmer. The level as which this is definitely something that I can do in between a fixed blade shave. The smoothness is just about what I would expect from a trimmer. It's not going to compete with the smoothness that you're gonna get from a fixed blade, but I didn't expect it to. This is a trimmer. This is usually what I will use to bring the hair down before either going in with an electric shaver or a fixed blade shave. All the line work that I was able to achieve was precise and down to how well my skill level is. So it will take a little bit of practice for novices, but again, you eliminate the variable of the quality and the fact that this is not a plug-in trimmer, and I'm getting very similar, if not the exact same level of trim that I would get from electric shears that I'd have to plug into an actual outlet, is impressive. This is not something you're gonna wanna hold for very, very long because of that heft. But again, I feel like it's more about the quality feel. It feels like something that is of a higher quality rather than something that's just heavy for no reason. Aesthetically, it looks great, but more importantly than the aesthetics, it performs well, and with the display on the front, it tells you specifically where you are with the battery. The only nitpicking drawbacks that I can have is this thing is, again, just adequate, not the highest of quality, but quickly replace this with a little quick brush like this, or they have brushes that are specifically for this, and move on with your day. The fact that it came with the guards, I was able to achieve the line work with the precision that I was, and I haven't done any fixed blade shaving, is impressive. The Goldenstone one is a buy for me. I would like to see, because they called it the Goldenstone 1, 2, or 3 in comparison for this. With the aesthetic, you won't really mind that it doesn't come with a travel case, because it is the kind of thing that you can leave out and it looks impressive. I could even see a world where a professional barber could use something like this. Is he gonna replace his electric shears in his chair and do your whole haircut with it? Probably not, but it is high enough quality that he can do a little line work or travel with this thing. As you can see, it's not huge. It's not gonna take up a lot of space. The only nitpicks, I say again, the brush and the toggling button, the fact that it only comes with the one button, so you have to toggle through the 2 settings, but it's only 2 settings at that. This is a buy for me, but if you guys want to check this out, I believe you can still use my Sejoy promo code, which will be in the information below, or I'll probably try to get it on screen. Thanks for rocking with me, guys. I look forward to any of you guys trying this out for yourself, telling me what your results are like, and comparing it to mine. Till the next time we're cutting up, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.